WNBC. WNBC. What's going on, guys? How's it going? Good afternoon, good night, good evening, good morning, all that fun stuff. Today is Tuesday, Marketing Tuesday, May 7th. Should be a good one. I'm excited. What's going on, Anthony? Good shout out. As always, first and foremost, if at any time anybody needs any questions answered, any issues, you want to review a deal, just throw it in the chat. Let me know, and I will literally diverge everything. Today, I wanted to kind of do a couple different things. I'm going to break down some marketing for Tuesdays. So we've been going over building lists, kind of understanding your avatar. I want to now go into how to actually hit that avatar, right? A lot of times people don't do it systematically. I want to show you how to easily break it down systematically, how you should be thinking about touching these people. God, that sounds weird. But how you need to deal with these leads, right? Whether or not they're cold leads or warm leads, okay? I'm going to be going over that. And then also, whenever Jessica's ready, she's going to come in and we're going to call some warm leads. We're going to do some live calls. We'll do them on speakerphone, see how those go. So stay around for that. If anybody has anything they want to bring up and chat about, let me know. Drop it in the comments and all that fun stuff. Let me do this. Let me share my screen right here. How do I close this son of a bitch? I don't want to see this. Whatever. That's just my OCD. This is me instead of pulling over the whiteboard and being all manic. I like to draw on things. So the way you need to start thinking about leads, right, is big. See, this is why we need the iPad. Let's say you have a lead that comes in or anything. We're going to call it a lead. God, that is painful. Yeah, that works. Oh, bro, sub 2. All right, I'll stop. You know what? Why don't I do this? I'm going to save that question, Anthony, until I get Jessica in here, because it's also, well, no, because that's the assignment. That's the Donovan job. That's a dispo. We don't like to assign sub 2s. Let me start off there, okay? The whole reason that you're going to go a sub 2 route is to get into a deal with low cash out of money, or that deal warrants it, right? One of our sub 2s, we ended up wholesaling it, but we went into it telling them that that's what we're going to do, okay? So a lot of times people use sub 2 as the acquisition, but then they think they can pair that up with any type of disposition strategy. So when you assign something, you specifically in a sub 2, you're not relinquishing all of your rights and everything. You're not walking away from that deal. You just told the seller, right? You sold the seller on this idea of a sub 2, which is, hey, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to solve all your problems. I'm going to pay this mortgage. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to, if there are arrears, right? If it's taxes behind, whatever, I'm going to come in. I'm going to fix the problems. And then moving forward, you can go away. You can go live your life. And then moving from here on out, I'm going to make sure that the mortgage gets paid. Okay, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now, when you turn around and you assign it, you're kind of, unless you built up that trust on the front side and said, this is what I'm going to do, it's really tricky. And it's really, ethics come involved. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm getting to. The long wind of it is when you're getting into sub twos, there's a lot of ethics involved, and when you're getting into assigning, like wholesaling those sub twos, it doubles up. Okay, so just be wary of that. Um, Trying to think more in depth about your question, right? So how do I go about assigning a sub two? Yeah, and that's my point, right? So this is all right. So you started off with how do you go about assigning a sub two deals, and this is kind of where you need to lay your head, right? You're gonna sort of you want to go in and present yourself as the negotiator, right? Hey, let me pair you up with somebody that's going to buy and take care of this and XYZ. And um, so in that regard, a lot of times, and I'll wait until Jessica comes in, and we'll kind of circle back on this after I'm done rambling. Uh, but Jessica will, sometimes she'll have it's almost like a novation agreement, right? So you almost do a novation deal for that sub two. So you're novating that sub two. This way, you're removing yourself from the liability and the rights and then requirements and all that. The I'm trying to think about the deal that we just, not the deal that we just did, but one of our last subdues was like 105% ARV, and it only made sense as a sub two. And then even still, we didn't want it, so we assigned it. And again, same thing. We were able to pair up a unicorn with a unicorn in a sense, and we were able to find somebody that wanted it and paid the ridiculous fee for it. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're going to pad split it or some stupid shit. It makes sense for their business. All right. Getting back on my topic. Honestly, no, keep them coming though, man. I enjoy. This is what I love doing. I love conversation. So, gives me things to rant about. When you're thinking about your lead, right? You're building your list, right? You're building your list. It's got fucking 5,000, whatever it is. How many times are you going to hit it, right? What is your process for it, right? Are you just going to call it, right? I got to stop trying to spell. I need a stylus. Are you just going to call it one time, 3 times? Or are you going to text it? Are you going to... So this is kind of where it comes down to where you have to systematically plan out your business. And then I'm going to stop embarrassing myself with this doodle sheet in front of me. But one of these is going to be a text message, right? Depending on the lead, too. All right, so that is... Warm leads don't matter. Warm leads, they opted in. They fell into your sense, right? And this what I'm talking about here is how you hit your leads. This is for warm and cold leads, right? So with that being said, we try to. Don't text them. Don't give out upfront information. Don't say, hey, I'm John from John's, Wants to Buy Your Homes LLC, right? Don't give out all this information. But I wouldn't text them. That will be one surefire way, because it's lazy people and it's easy to report. So, but calling, that's not a problem. It's specifically how you address it. Again, always going in with a way. If you do it this way, if you're just cold calling, if you're not, all right, let's cut this out. Let's say we're not going to text, but we are going to send them a mail. All right, I am going to go door knock. What else am I going to do? When I'm door knocking, I'm also going to leave a post-it. So if I'm trying to do all of these things, it's in my best interest to make sure this list, right, is as condensed, is as, I don't want to say small, that's a bad word, but as rich as it can be. Okay. I don't want a lot of fluff in there because I personally, and this is the way you should be doing it, everybody should be touched multiple times. Don't just do one. Don't just do one and think you're going to be successful. You can by all means, but you're making sure that if you're calling them, you're going to call them on a systemized pattern. You're going to call them from different phones. If they're not picking up, you're going to follow up, right? You're work your ass off on it. Make sure this list is ran dry. Now, this can be the same list that we built last week on Deal Machine, right? This can be 200 leads from Deal Machine. This can be my avatar. This can be land. It can be anything. It can be last week's inbound warm leads, right? It can be anything. Even on the warm leads, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to, this, I keep on getting beside myself. The reason why we're doing so much is because when you make contact, when you initially get them on the phone, you have a point of reference. Okay. So if I'm sitting there and I'm scared of the DNC, right? If that name is on a DNC and I call him and he picks up and I say, "Hey, Mr. Smith, nice to talk to you today. I'm calling in regards to the letter that that I gave you last week, or I left you a postcard on your mail. Did you get it? Did you get my mail I sent you? No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. The mail sucks in this country. Today I'm calling you in regards to XYZ, right? So you're not calling there for a solicitation. You're calling there as a segue. You kind of already jimmy the door in a sense, and you have your foot in the door with other forms of marketing, right? These are all low barrier, low cost entries. Everybody sees this mail one, and this is the dollar signs right here, right? This is the expensive one because you have to do it in bulk usually. But if you're doing a list of 200 properties just to do one deal or two deals a quarter, right? That's not hard. That's not hard to sit there and write out postcards or throw it into a Word document and use a mail merge and easily just print out 200 pieces of paper, fold them up, stamp them, and out they go. You do that every 3 weeks, you have yourself a marketing campaign now. People try to overthink things, and really it just comes back to going back to the basics, right? Understanding what a lead is, understanding what a list is, what an avatar is, and then how to systematically reach out and touch them. Today, we've been going over calling. Today, I want to go over mailing. Later on in the call, when Jessica comes in, we will call some warm leads that came in. And then also we'll show you some of the text message and stuff. So as a reminder, just while I have this, I don't know if anybody's gone. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, bear with me 1 second. The DNC, it scares a lot of people, but don't text them. That's number one. Okay. A lot of times you can use your, third-party phones services are very cheap. That'll also give you another barrier. And then also just don't be a dick. When you call them, don't antagonize them. Understand that these people are getting berated with other marketing. There's a reason why they're not on the do not call list. You can absolutely call them and work them and everything. A lot of our warm leads that come in are on the DNCs. just because they fit that avatar. That doesn't mean that we don't call them. We absolutely call them. They opted in. So take that and take that with everything. All right, what was I doing here? I got sidetracked again. So we have I passed VA in this is actually a good one. We have passed calls and all that in the club. These didn't transfer over. I will update it. This way they're in there. But Jessica put together other like examples of her talking to sellers, getting things under contract. Those are going to be under conversations with sellers, but I'll move it over and make it a new one. This looks like it didn't come over either. So I'll update all of this. That's why I just took notes on and make this a new course. This way it's a good reference point for everybody. So why don't I do this? Why don't I take one of the lists that we did last week. Trying to find them. I need to get a mouse in here. Tommy. That's what I'm missing. Oh, that was the mailer I downloaded. I was saying I need to get a mouse for in here. Make my life easier. I'm wearing out my finger pads. So this is a story of a girl. Cried a river and drowned the whole world. God damn, this pissed me off. So this is one of the example mailers that I threw in the club. So it's on there to download. I literally just went and I downloaded it from that day that I threw the comments in there. And then I downloaded the call list that we built. A lot of this is going to be, oh shit, pull it up on this screen. Sorry, guys. So when you go to mail merge, there's, when you go to mail merge, it's going to yell at you because your list is going to be too in-depth, right? So a lot of this junk you don't need, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to come over to mail, start mail merge. I'm going to do letters. I already did it. That's the issue. Oh, God. Don't open the email on live. So grand autographs, absolutely love her. Cheese bombs. Okay. I come back to it now. All right, so I had to restore it. So you do mail merge, and then you have to select recipients. I'm going to use an existing list. Let's go to downloads. This is going to yell at me for two reasons. One, wrong type. Huh, never mind. It didn't mind. I thought it was going to yell at me. All right, so cool. So that's it. You're literally going to, anytime you want to, as you're going through, anytime you want to enter something, you're going to, sorry, this is really far away. Got to scoot. Sorry, guys. It's right here. Insert merge field. So this is all the data from that from this document, right? No matter what we put there, if I want the mailing address, any of this data to show up here, this is where you're going to pull it from, okay? And then as you go through, it'll all change. So you are going to upload your template, and it is literally going to, you treat it like a template, right? So dear, who are we sending this to? Well, I don't want to say dear John Smith. I just want to say dear first name. Okay. We recently looked at a home near our neighborhood, yada, yada, yada. If you want, well, this is a very broad mailer. This is, hey, we're just sending it out to, this can be one, this can just be dear homeowner. Let me just set it that way. Let me back up. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. When you're doing your marketing, when you're doing all of this bullshit, people overthink it so much. When we were doing just this letter, do you know how many different fonts I went through to find what we thought was the best handwritten font? None of that matters. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is consistency. So actually sending this thing out is what matters. And a lot of times people spend so much time on, all right, I'm going to get this to be the perfect one. No, that doesn't matter. yes, it matters in a sense where if you're going to come down to it, all right, which one am I going to pick? Yeah, there is something there. But at the end of the day, just getting your shit out the door matters more than anything. So in this one, this is just a very broad spectrum mailer that you can use. Dear homeowner, we've recently purchased a home in your neighborhood and we're looking for others to buy. While driving around the area, we saw your house and we would love to purchase the property. If at any time you consider selling your home in currently condition quickly and easy, please give us a call. We offer you a fair price for your property and we offer solutions with no hassle. Thank you very much for your time. Sincerely yours, Tim and Sarah. Tim and Sarah don't talk to anybody, right? Like, so why didn't I put Jessica on this? Jessica's the one answering, because it doesn't matter. It's overthinking. It's overcomplicating. Just pick something and move forward with it. So that's an example for mail merging, and specifically on this one, this template. A lot of times you can do other things. So while driving around, saw your house, you want to put the subject property, right? 123 Main Street. So you're going to do not the mailing address because that's where they live. You can do the property address, associated property address, full, line 1. I like to do that one. Jessica! While driving around the house, so your house. All right. So how do you? Let's say you want to read it. You're just going to come up here and go to the next one. So next record. Next record. Oh shit! Sorry. There it is. Preview. Sorry. So Leobardo, we recently purchased a home, looking to offers to buy. While driving around the area, we saw your house, 811 Radfield Road, and we would love to make a purchase on this. And it'll sit here and it'll go through that entire list and update. So if you're seeing what I'm seeing, is every time I update it, the property address doesn't change. It does, but only so often. So I would look into that and figure out why. I probably just have the wrong filer there. So, which is, it happens. You're literally going to take this, Control P, send it to your printer. There's 2 ways to do it. Right here, print documents, finish and merge, and you're going to print however big your list is. So if I hit print, it'll literally just start ripping these through. Jessica's here. Come on over, Jess. You're going to need that chair. Give me a... I apologize. What?
Were you mail merging?
I was.
I love mail merge.
We have to keep it frigid so the cameras don't overheat, and it helps me stop shining.
Gotcha.
I get too shiny.
Will you bring me that chair?
Yeah.
Thomas? Okay. Put it upside down.
It's universal.
Look here.
Camera 3 looks good.
Hey.
Camera 2 is tight. We can switch over to 3, actually. I kind of like it.
I'm not shivering. You're shivering.
Want a blanket?
I brought gloves today. I haven't needed them yet, but I did bring some. Are you gonna pull up the addresses again?
I can.
Or what's up?
You tell me what you want to do.
Okay.
What sheet are you going to go off of? You going off of Salesforce? Or you going off of the?
No, the spreadsheet. I do like that Lead Solo, when they send you leads, it's already in a spreadsheet for you to track. If you want to transfer them to your CRM, you can, but this is already a pretty good built-in CRM for this lead source. It has spots over on the side where you can mark, like, is it dead? Is it hot? And it's a spreadsheet, so you can make your own notes and own columns and stuff too. So I even added a tab to it. This is displayed right now? No? Okay.
Now it is.
So I even added a tab for us where we could look and see if that state that we're calling is a title state or an attorney state. Title state is easy because there's title companies that do nationwide, right? So Stewart is the one that that we use. And then the attorney state ones, those are a little bit more difficult just because you've got to find somebody in that state to help you. But it's still a workable process. We just like to know in advance. They're still ones that we call, but we're going to call the title state ones first. They're a higher priority for us than the attorney ones.
Before we jump into this, Anthony asked a question in the beginning, and I rambled and stumbled through an answer. But I said I wanted to go back when you get in, just because I don't want to speak for my acquisitions team, right? So it is a dispositions question, but he asked, how do you go about assigning a sub-2 deal? I know it's off topic, but wondering in case of you. And then he's pretty much asking, like, how do you go about the whole process? You know, he then went in and say you're acting like a middleman if it is a sub-2 deal and such like that. So
yeah, we can definitely, if you want to do another live, like specifically on sub-2s, I don't know what your calendar is, but we can do that. But assigning a sub-2, I'll go ahead and give you the short version, right? Assigning a sub-2 is a little sketchy. Okay, that's the way I'm going to put it. When you do a normal assignment,
I had a hard time voicing it too. I didn't pause. I was like, it's difficult because it comes down to ethics, right? It's an ethical question.
Because that person's mortgage is still in place and you're responsible for making those payments, or the person you're assigning to is responsible for making those payments. And if they don't make those payments, it's going to hurt the person's credit. The person might have to foreclose on them. There's just a lot going on with a deal like that. So when we're assigning a sub-2 deal, the quick pointers are we let the person know we're assigning it, right? We make sure that they don't think I'm the one that's going to be paying those mortgage payments. It's this other investor who I found for them. And then we've also been doing a novation indemnification agreement. So that way our name isn't even anywhere on the contract or in those closing documents other than we're getting paid a fee, right? So the novation indemnification agreement allows you to replace your original sub-2 contract with the seller with a new sub-2 contract with the end buyer. And that really just helps us as far as liability is concerned. I still do a lot of due diligence on the buyer, even though we're not going to be legally liable, right? I have feelings, right? I want to do well by people. I don't want to set them up for something that's going to not go well in the future. So I do a lot of due diligence with the buyer to make sure they understand what a sub-2 deal is. What's their plan for if the due on sale clause gets called? What's their plan for insurance, right? What's your plan if a tenant comes in, they don't make those payments and they trash the house, right? What are you going to do to make sure that that person's underlying mortgage is still paid and they're still taken care of? So just when you're assigning those sub-2s, you've got to be even more diligent about vetting the end buyer because there's just a lot more involved because that person stays with the house and more so than a traditional wholesale deal where they've paid their money and we're done. It's gone. It's over. Right?
I use the 105 as the example, that deal, because it was such an extreme and, unique deal that it kind of stands out. Also, it was one where you right up front, like, hey, I don't know. Right. I'm going to try to do XYZ and let's see. And it worked out. Right?
That's my favorite way to do any deal that I'm going to wholesale or not be the end buyer for, is go ahead and set it up for them as saying, like, I'm going to try to do this for you. Give me X amount of time to try. And then you'll know for sure if I'm able to do it or not. It just really is clear about those expectations. Nobody gets hurt in the process, right? Same with like some of these lead solos, they're out of state, right? So I don't get to physically go and see those properties. And so I tell them, we negotiate, I get it at the price I want, but I already say, once somebody is able to go see in person, there is a chance during this inspection period, this option period, that price is going to be lowered. So I'm already setting them up for a price drop. They're not planning on every penny of that money being used to purchase their trailer that they want to move into, their next land, whatever it is. If you don't set them up for that, right? If they sign the contract and already think it's a done deal, but you actually have an option period in there, you're trying to find a buyer, and that price might not be feasible, right? You're just setting them up for disaster if you don't give them the proper information to go off of, because it could really put them in a financial bind. People have put deposits down on their next things. And then if we're not able to perform, that would set them up for failure, right? They might lose that whole deposit, that sort of thing. So just really being clear about the process and if you plan on assigning it or if you think there's a chance for a price drop.
So I'm gonna bring it up on the screen just for a little while. This way later on I can pull it and hide the data. Oh, wrong one. Oh, wrong one. But so when you sign up with LeadZolo, they're gonna set you up with their own Google sheet, right? And these are how leads come across. And you can see property condition, how long they've owned it, and you can dispute it and all that, right? Then this is what Jessica was talking about. You can put notes and you can create it and use it as your own CRM. It'll tell you what type of property is it, multifamily, single family. If you're going to list for dirt, do dirt. And then you can take this. It is a speed lead thing. So when they fill out this form, these are warm leads. They are... they're there, they fill it out, and you're getting them within less than a minute. I know it's supposed to be like 15 seconds, they say, but let's just say a minute. You're getting it within minutes. So obviously you want to reach out to that person as soon as possible, as soon as reasonably possible, but it's okay if you take a second, do a little due diligence, grab a glass of water, and then call them 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, right? So obviously some of the leads today that came in, we're not calling within the first 15 minutes. So I'm going to pull this down so I can do some homework, I guess, on the screen while you work the phone, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Start at line 95 with Chad.
Yep. I just need the address.
All right. One of the things that really messed me up with cold calling in the beginning is I felt like I needed to have all the numbers ran for every property before I even called. And there's so many people who don't answer the phone or will only respond after you text them and then they'll respond back, right? So taking that time to do all the due diligence beforehand. I mean, if you have one lead that you're working on, sure, go for it. But if there's a list of 100 that you're working on, you just don't really have time for that, right? So maybe pull it up in Google, give them a call as you're talking, then you could dig into some more of the data, or you can always say, hey, let me research this for you. Let me give you a call back in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is.
And the numbers should never matter, right? Like the whole point of the conversation is to find out the story. hey, I know you just filled out a form. What's the story? Tell me about the property. Tell me the story. Tell me the story about your life. What's going on? You're trying to uncover, I keep on saying, you peel back the onion, you're trying to uncover the actual root of the problem. And a lot of the time, you don't need the numbers in front of you, right? All of our questions come from they're giving us their numbers, right? And we're always, all right, well, we're going to circle back. Fuck, I keep saying that goddamn term. we're gonna circle back in XYZ and come back and present an offer. A lot of times people think it's speed to contract, and it's not. It's the phone rings and you're going to nurture them, and you're probably not going to get that thing under contract maybe for another week or two,
Yeah, because we want quality contracts too. So yes, maybe in that first phone call I could get a contract, right? But it's going to be at their number, not at my number. I haven't done the legwork to see what problems they're having, right? So I want to figure out what's really going on, have time to do my due diligence and come up with a good number. And then when I present that number to them and that offer, I can also include all the ways we're going to help them and how that offer is solving their problems. So if I didn't do that front step of trying to figure out what's going on, and what they need and what they want, right, then I'm not going to be able to present the offer in the way that is most appealing to them, right? Because I promise you my number is going to be less than what they want, right? But I need to be able to articulate how that still addresses their needs, right? I'm not going to have a bunch of showings. You're not going to be paying any realtor commissions. You can leave junk in the house, right? Whatever it is that we've talked about, I want to be able to address that when I present the offer. All right, let's try Chad. I guess
I didn't want to throw you for a loop.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
I think that's
the person
City's
you're trying to reach is not available.
Dubuque.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Chad. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information you entered online about selling that property on Cerro Drive. I'm interested, and I'd love to talk to you about it and see how I can help. Give me a call back anytime. Thanks. I didn't say my phone number that time. Are y'all proud?
Yes.
I'm really used to saying my phone number. You were ready to bleep it out?
He was over there ready to mute.
If y'all want my phone number to ask me questions, just let me know. But let's not put it on the live. Yeah. Okay. So typically I would take time and send Chad a text message as well.
So I started like a lunatic drawing this out earlier, right? Like I need to get a stylus and something, but I was trying to use GoodNotes. It's GoodNotes.
I do love
but
GoodNotes.
it was with my finger, and it's now worn down to a nub. I didn't have a stylus or anything, but
I have an iPad.
so I know
Maybe
that was
next time.
Hindsight's always
Next
22.
time,
You
guys.
can iPad into
Yeah,
that
the
TV.
Zoom.
into the Apple.
I'll just take that TV down and just fucking. Anyway,
It's coming soon.
what I was getting at is this lead. You called it. Now you're you would normally text it, email it, right? That was one thing we didn't talk about. I started writing the E, I guess. Just say E.
Oh yeah, I thought that was just mail.
No, it was mail. Now we're gonna make it email.
Okay.
Email. So.
Not serial killery at all.
No.
Yep. So typically, I won't make y'all sit here and watch me text. I think I did that last time. I just put in my notes in this spreadsheet that is magical in there for me already that I need to send a text so that I remember. But let's try this next one. Line 97. And the leads that come in, they even tell you a reason of why they want to sell. So this person said financial difficulties. So sometimes whenever you call someone the first phone call, they're not really wanting to share a lot of information. But if you have this to go off of, right? Sometimes they say looking for a quick sell, or it's a distressed property, financial difficulties. Those are some of the reasons listed on the spreadsheet. It's just another thing to use to help open up that conversation more, especially with people who are short and direct.
The TextNow subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hi, Shannon. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information you entered online about selling your property on Webster Street. I'd love to talk to you about it, see what's going on, and see if I'd be a good fit to help. Give me a call back anytime. Thanks. All right, said send a text on that one.
So a lot of systems, if you're using, for an example, Deal Machine, just because it's the one I'm using right now, you can set up in there to automatically start like a mailing drip campaign, right? They'll do postcards. So when this lead comes in, if I wanted to, I can also tag it, send it a postcard, right? That, again, it goes down to this multi-touch.
One of these is going to answer.
Two, 1, 7. Available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time.
Boo. Okay, line 101. I like to send them a text and save their info with their address as well. So that way when they call me back, I know who it is and I'm not caught so off guard. Because a lot of people, when they call you back, they don't immediately say, hi, this is my name, this is my address. You know, they're like, I'm just returning your call. And they don't really give you all the information you need. And you can ask for that, of course, but I also like to know when it's a work call calling so I can answer appropriately. So that's why I save everything. But whatever system works for you. That's
I
what you
put
do.
right here in the company, I put as much details as possible.
Mhm.
Like for any leads, any clients, anything like that, because that's what shows up underneath their name.
Mhm.
So when that first one, like for me, it says Jessica Merhout, bitch, right? Like,
It's accurate.
yeah, you try to get the
Sure.
most details as possible right there.
Most important information.
I never put the
Please
company.
leave your message for
Hi, Amanda. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information you entered online about selling your property on Jackson Street. I'd love to talk to you about it, see what's going on, and see if I can help. Give me a call back anytime. Thanks.
So a lot of times systematically, if you're doing this and you call them 3 days in a row from the same number, on the fourth day, try a different phone, try a different number. Countless times we'll just pass phones between Mason, Jessica, Tony, and just rotate phone numbers just to, you never know who will pick up for who.
And Google phone numbers are super easy to create and use as well. So that's always an option if it's just you by yourself, you don't have somebody to trade phones with.
your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Michael. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information you entered online about selling your property on South 3rd Street. I'd love to see if I'd be a good fit to help. Give me a call back anytime. Thanks. I got messed up because I was like, oh, God, did I say the wrong address?
Oh, because I clicked.
But because you clicked it, yeah.
I was wondering. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. I panicked for a second.
Damn. Cloud sheets.
You lost the viewer with that flow.
No. Oh, no.
Probably Brittany. It was probably Brittany just dipping, just embarrassed on us.
Right. Okay, let's do line 109. One of these is going to answer. It's going to happen. You have to call at different times too, right? So if you're always calling your leads at 10 a.m., there's a lot of people who are work at 10 a.m. And if you're always calling at 10 a.m. on Monday through Friday, right? So some of these leads that you've just never been able to get in touch with, we change phone numbers, we change what time we're calling them, and then we also make sure to change what days we're calling them. So we have, we trade off on weekends, who's working weekends. And so the weekend person needs to call through on Saturday or Sunday, even some of those numbers that just have never answered. Ooh, that house is pretty. It's like the Barndo style.
Oh, he's in financial difficulties.
Probably because he built that giant house.
Oh, it's cancer behind it.
It's cancer behind
Yeah,
it.
I don't do electrical high wires.
Oh,
This guy's driveway is whiter than his house. That's impressive.
I wonder how much of that is the Photoshop filters.
You think he made it whiter?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, nobody's buying this shit.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Sam Nook.
Hi, Sam. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information you entered online about selling that property on Skyview Circle. Give me a call back anytime. I'd like to see if I'm a good fit for you. Hope to hear from you soon. Blech. Blech. I hate voicemails.
Nook.
Blech. So I still need to text him. I hope people are like me and just don't listen to their voicemails and like only read whatever it says.
Anthony asks, what time is the best time to call?
Oh, that's everybody's different, but each lead specific, but I do have the best luck around lunchtime, right? So like the 11 to 1 window, I don't know what it is about that, if people have more flexibility at that time at their jobs or everybody's awake by then, right? But 11 to 1 is when I have the best results. And then I guess second to that would be after 5. So like the 5:30 to 6:30 window. Once you get too late, then people are busy or they're almost like mad that you called at that time.
What's the
right?
latest that you'll call? Even if it's specifically like a warm lead.
Mhm. If a lead comes in late, I call them late. If you entered that information at 11:30 p.m. and I'm up, I'll call you at 11:30 p.m.
What about not that initial touch though? What
Mhm.
about
Someone who hasn't answered?
yeah, like for today, if you're trying to get a hold of somebody,
Mhm.
reaching back out, what's that? All right, I'm done for the day time.
Yeah. I usually 6:30 is the latest I go for that first touch, right? If it's one that hasn't answered, right? I've tried everything else. I've tried weekdays, I've tried weekends, then I'll try late. And that's something that our CRM is good at tracking. Whenever you enter in all your notes is what time you called to and what day it was. So you can make sure, well, the one thing I haven't tried is to call them at 9:30, right? So it's calling them late is a last chance effort for me, right before going to just knock on the door.
A lot of these situations too are, I don't want to say it's okay to call late, but it is almost more typical to get a hold of them later in the evening, almost. So don't be shy of calling at 6:30, 7 o'clock, just once in a while. Don't hold on. Worst comes to worst, they tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, I agree. Or they'll say they're busy right now. I always ask, like, is now an okay time to talk about the house, or do you want me to call back at a different time? If they sound busy or they sound flustered when they answer the phone, because I want them to know that I'm there to help and I'm not there to put more pressure on them. Like, you have to talk to me now or I'm not going to help you. right? I'm never an ultimatum type person in negotiations in the lead up to getting the contract.
Because even in sales in general, a lot of times the more you push them away, in a sense, like that assumed close that I don't need you, right? Like I'm here to help. I don't need every deal. I do this for a living. If I close on your property, awesome. I'm here. But being able to say, all right, no, it's fine. If you can go somewhere else, like pushing them somewhere else sometimes says, hey, listen, I want to actually go with them instead. They have their priorities right. How many times have people thanked you over taking a higher offer from somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So
I think my record is one had an offer that was $60K higher, but still went with us and loved every part of it, right? Was very happy with their service and the outcome and how everything went. They're not all like that, right? Most people need that 60K. So if my offer got beat by 60K, I would almost, and it was a real like solid offer, I'd almost tell them to take it, right? I don't want to be, I never want to be scummy, right? Like,
it comes again, it's an ethics, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to have ethics in this business.
Yeah.
So
and what comes around or what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
What you put out there, you get back, that sort of thing, right? So we get a lot of referral business too. So the people that we take care of, they're happy, they recommend us to their friends, and those deals are always the best deals. Sometimes even better than the original one that we had because they already know that we do what we say we're going to do and we take care of people. I'm on 110. Did 110. No. Eddie.
Tallahassee. You ever call right back?
Mason does the double
Mason
dial.
will call right back with, oh, hey, how's it going? We got disconnected.
I'm not a double dialer. I'll text this one. And a lot of times that's it too. They think you're spam. They think you're just any number they don't know. You're trying to sell them something. If they're in pre-foreclosure, they're getting a million calls, right? So I want to make sure that whenever I do text them, I say, you entered your information on our website. So they know that they reached out to us, right? We're not cold calling them. And then I point out some of the things that they mentioned in the submission too. I think that helps as well. So they know that it's not a out of the blue thing, and I get more calls back that way. I will say this is pretty typical of calling leads that are older, right? A lot of calls just don't get answered until you text and then they call you back. So don't get frustrated or discouraged with that. That's why I like the speed to lead, right? They come in, I call immediately. Like I know you're still sitting at your computer because you just hit enter, right? And I'm calling you. I know you're thinking about it now. I know you know what website I came from, that sort of thing. So the older ones, or the more you let them wait, the harder it is going to be to get that first touch, just because they're not sure who's calling them or why.
And also by then they've gone and touched 7 other different funnels.
JC. Oh, this one's in Texas.
Please leave your message for Kimberly Williams.
Hi, Kimberly. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information entered online about selling your property on County Road 303. I'd love to see if I'd be a good fit to help you guys. Give me a call back. My phone number is 817-271-8561. Thanks. I forgot I wasn't supposed to. Call me if you need me.
It's fine because we're private live. We're live to our group only.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
I
we're
didn't
not.
know that.
Yeah, no, we're not live to the masses.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
y'all can call me anytime. Whatever
Yeah,
you
no.
need. I'm
Well,
here
that's
to help.
no, that's why before I showed it, like I brought up and I showed everybody the CRM and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I don't
it's
care that the
okay,
screens
'cause
because
it's-
I'm not going to show that later on if I clip anything. But
Okay.
if I say anything worthwhile, I want to be able to use it. Not that I ever say anything worthwhile.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I know. Look good. There was something I was just about to say.
Sorry, I messed you up. Which one are we on now?
Oh, JC Payne filled out the thing,
Mhm.
and then Kimberly is the email address.
Yeah, and Kimberly was the voicemail too. So I just went with Kimberly. We'll figure out who JC is later. I think something that's important too when you have a giant list of leads is to figure out what your priorities are and what you want to work the hardest on. Because some of those leads are going to be better than others, right? When you pull them up, like that last one that Nick pulled up, that was the crazy nice house, recently built, right? That's going to be a harder lead than something that says it's a distressed property, right? Because with those really nice ones, you know, you might have sub 2, there's not as much equity. Maybe they've paid it off and you can do seller finance, right? But it's not going to be your typical easy wholesale deal, right? So that might not be one that's high on my list of priorities to keep pestering, right? And keep trying hard to get. I want to look through my list and really see which, you know, are my top 5 for that day. I think that's a really great practice to have. You know, what are my top 5 leads today that I want to try to get, or for this week, or whatever it is. And if you're getting leads that are drivable, I think that's really important too, because some of these leads just never answer. But I could go and I can knock on that door. After you knock on the door, then if they don't answer, you can talk to the neighbors, knock on their doors, leave sticky notes, right? Whatever it is. If that's a lead you really want, sometimes you have to put in that extra effort. It's going to be more than just a phone call. People who say wholesaling's easy, you know, it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of follow-up, and I don't know, the more intentional you can be about everything, the more successful you're going to be.
It's a beautiful property.
Which one is this?
King-
Detroit?
The one
Oh, the
underneath you?
Kingsland?
The next one underneath it?
Detroit Lakes?
No, Truman.
Oh, I skipped over that one. My bad. Yep. Also in Texas.
Yeah, I know. And I jumped.
Oh, is it
right
on the river? Love it. It's the Brazos? Is it the Brazos? I saw a river. It looked like tubing was happening there.
You're acting like I know Texas. I'm a New Yorker. Colorado.
Colorado River. Zoom out. Is it close to San Antonio? Austin. Oh, Marble Falls. Okay.
Marble Falls. I should have saw that. Damn it.
That's not even a big city. It's just a fun place to go and camp. If anybody's looking for camping advice, check out Marble Falls.
I have been looking. You know how messed up it is? I've been looking for. I want a
No,
camp.
you haven't.
I want to go take the kids camping. I do.
See, this is useful time here.
Write this down.
Very useful.
Marble Falls. Gonna go walk a property.
It was pretty. And it looks like you might be able to do some Airbnb stuff there. You only mention that when you're selling it to other people,
Yeah.
right?
If anybody wants to buy this,
Yeah.
you can pad split it.
Yes. This is another one where the name and email don't match.
I think Margaret is Minnie.
That says Ninny.
And
Your call has been forwarded
God
to
damn it,
voicemail.
Margaret.
The person you're trying to reach is not
She wants
available.
to sell
At the
without a
tone,
real estate
Please
agent.
record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Margaret. I'm Jessica, and I saw the information you submitted online about selling your property on Thurman Circle. I'm definitely interested. I'd love to hear what's going on and see how I can help. Give me a call back anytime. Thanks. Text all these people so when they call me back, I will know who it is. It's Minnesota. Say how you say it? Minnesota.
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 It's a
Oh,
sizzle.
gosh. Oh, geez.
Oh, and I already looking ahead to the next one is the Texas one. Makes me happy.
It better be nice out that way. $1 million property in the woods. Anthony was
Oh, for the
talking.
last one? Yeah.
Yeah.
People in Texas pay a lot of extra money for water access.
Colorado River is nice.
This might be Margaret calling me back. Hi, this is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. This is Margaret Love. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Today's a bad day.
Oh, no. I hate to hear that.
Well, let me just be real open and honest.
Yes, ma'am.
I lost the love of my life February 3rd of this year from cancer. We bought this cool little future retirement home 5 years ago and started remodeling it immediately. We bought it in May, and then LBJ had the huge flood in October of that year. And so we had a detached garage with an apartment above it, and built engineered trusses between the original house and on top of the garage, and added 2,300 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what you see online is not what you got.
Right. Good to know. Good to know.
It is not what we have.
Right.
So yeah, this was an endeavor of love. This was supposed to be our forever home.
Forever. Yeah.
It was his forever home. And, the plan we had of the kids having to buy a fat man coffin and burying us together did not work. God obviously has different plans. He still has a purpose and a plan for me, or he would have planned it differently. It is too much house for me to keep up. There are one of the pecan trees has been dated to be over 450 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So there's multiple pecan trees on the property, and it's always dropping something. So right now it's doing the lovely. My husband Cody used to call them pears, but it's the male pollinators, the little wormies that are falling right now. So yeah, it's always a project with there being pecan trees, and it's just it's over 4,000 square feet.
Yeah, I did some quick math and got that too. Yeah,
it's over 4,000, and then since we bought it and started redoing it, they also decided to put on a beautiful back deck, and then a couple of steps up to on top of the the boat slip, and I have an art studio over the boat, that's heated and cooled. And Cody made the decision before he passed away that he wants me to move closer to my sisters
Mhm.
and our kids, which will be the Dallas Fort Worth area where you are.
Yes, yes. We will be happy to have you.
Well, that's hilarious. Whenever I was a single mom, it's like been there, done that, got the Purple Heart, had no intentions of ever getting remarried.
Mhm.
And whenever our oldest and our oldest at the time, he was my oldest, but anyway, when I was signing our apartment lease, it was 76006, and I remembered from 2 years earlier at our 10-year reunion that was when we got the little roster at the end of our high school reunion.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, we must be neighbors to Cody Love. It's the weirdest thing
It
to remember.
is. It
Anyway,
is.
it was anyway. I just looked at my old best friend from high school. He was my best friend from high school. So 13 years later, God put us together,
Mm.
and we had the joy of having 29 wonderful years of marriage and a total of 4 kids together. One of mine, one of his, 2 of ours.
Oh, it's a perfect
and-
Brady Bunch family.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, we did not have life insurance. I mean, well, he had a little bit of life insurance, but we didn't have health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have astronomical medical bills, and trying to, I've met with an attorney, to start working on the will, which I couldn't find the original. Luckily, I got a copy, and then it's Llano County. Anyway, it's the biggest.
It's a headache.
It's a headache.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to get this all done. Obviously, I'm protected right now because it's homestead.
Mm-hmm.
But getting it out of our name and into my name, and the not being taken advantage, because part of it was crazy because we kept trying to get emergency Medicaid, Medicare, Medicaid, and everything was falling through. We were supposed to have everything at Baylor Scott and White paid for, and he had in the search for the primary tumor, we had to have a colonoscopy in Lakeway, and they perforated his bowel.
No.
And that was the first time they sent us home to hospice. And the kids and we moved here from Bernie. Well, we split sized at first for about the first year. We had a smaller house in Bernie. That's where the kids the 3 youngest kids graduated from high school. And we had a business there that during the, after the flood and everything else, and my mother passing away, we lost the restaurant. And I mean, it was a season of what the heck, Lord?
Yeah.
I mean, really? And it's funny, you look back on it now, and, the blessings are, first, I wouldn't have half of the house that I have if it would have happened after COVID because of the prices of all the building material.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to deal with a restaurant during COVID, which we would have lost it then anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my story in a nutshell.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, my husband and I had a judo school that we lost during COVID. So the restaurant business, I can only imagine it would be even harder.
Yeah.
I know that Cody will be ready for you, but it's not time for that yet. So we got to figure out what to do.
Funny, the morning, I didn't know it was the morning before he passed away, but I was, reminding him of, I said, Jesus said, I'm leaving for a little while, but I'm going to prepare a place for you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, your place is ready. Now, I know when you get there, you're going to want to remodel it.
You'll have some pointers on decorations, right?
Anyway, he was already non-responsive that day, so I know he laughed. Yeah, I know he laughed, even though it didn't happen out loud.
Yes, definitely. Well, the house looks beautiful from what I can see, but I know it's so much different now, like you said. So I'm sure it's even better. Do you know about how much you think the house is worth now and how much you're hoping to get out of it after all those changes?
It's depending on what I get accomplished.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, with us remodeling, and then like we did the neighbors across the house, we have a bunch of stuff. You know, he wants me to, get a place that has a shop so I can keep all my, woodworking and all my tools and stuff and have a place to put it. So yeah, I have the 2-car garage was a 2-car garage with a 2-car carport, and we enclosed the 2-car carport. So actually, it's a 4-car tandem with a breezeway, between, obviously a covered breezeway between the original house and the garage. And yeah, right now I've got the trailer parked in front of where I usually park my vehicle, trying to, get a load ready.
Load up stuff, yeah.
For the dump. The first, first is like, okay, we got to make a dump load full or two. But yeah, some days I'm productive and some days I'm paralyzed. And yeah, the last couple of days have been hard. This weekend was the 3-month mark, and it was really hard. And then I had a nightmare last night. Anyway, today's one of my.
It's a hard day.
Today's a hard day.
Yeah. And
yeah,
those keep coming, unfortunately, but they get more time between them, is what I'm told.
Right.
Yeah.
And you would think, I've done the goodbye tour with my dad and a brother and my mom and my father-in-law, and it's different when it's your spouse and the love of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. You spend every day together for, what did you say, 26 years?
29 years
29.
we were married. But
29.
I'd known him, I remember the first time, I can tell you, both of us, it was just like, we graduated from Coronado High School in Lubbock. And our sophomore year, halfway through, Coach Omdahl's, one of the portables, he left the doors open after lunch, so we would go to sleep in a history class. And I'm over there shivering, and he was the only, high school was sophomore, junior, senior. He was the only sophomore on varsity basketball, and he already had his letter jacket because it was, halfway through the year. And I remember him coming over with his letter jacket from the other side of the room, and me looking up and him putting his letter jacket on me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, my knight in shining armor. Little did I know. So that would have been 1980.
Wow.
Was whenever we first met.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we just turned 60 in December, and then he left me early February.
Way too soon. Way too soon, Margaret. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am.
Yeah.
Well, just from hearing your story, I do think there are some ways we can help you. We've got to figure out the numbers, right? And I'd love some pictures.
It's probably, I did this. We used to have a real estate license when we lived in Lubbock. I worked for Westmark, and then I moved over to Pat Ham, and then Cody got his real estate license, and we tag teamed, which was wonderful.
Yes.
So I do have some real estate background, and we're on the canal. We're not on the big water. So, but we do have a boat slip and a boat lift, and it's really, I'm not a realtor anymore. I haven't been, I let my real estate license lapse whenever we moved from Lubbock to Bernie 16 years ago or whatever. So somewhere between, in a perfect world, about 2.9 million. Probably more realistically, 2.5.
Gotcha. Yep. Let me run some numbers. Do you have pictures you could send me of the property since it is so much different now than what I can see online?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can.
great. And no rush with that, right?
Yeah.
I know
Is this your cell phone number?
it is. It is. And I
Okay.
can text you as
Okay.
soon as we hang up so you have all of my information as well. And I know our cash offer is usually not market value, right? It's lower because we're able to help with other things, right? So we can help with timeline, we can help with the stuff, right? So that trailer load that you're talking about, that's something you wouldn't have to do at all if you went with us. We could take care of that for you. And then we pay all the closing costs and title fees as well. And there's no commissions or hidden fees or anything like that, right? So the realtor fee that you're talking about, or
Yeah.
that would normally be there, you wouldn't have to worry
Right.
about. So I can run some numbers for you and just get an idea as soon as I get those pictures from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. Are there any other? So you talked about the will and getting it in your name, right? So are you going
Right.
through the probate process right now?
Talked to the probate attorney, and she did not want to do probate yet. She wants to hold off. She was wanting me to do like a trust, and she didn't, because if you do the probate and to get letters of everything goes to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real simple will. We got a copy of it, and to certify it in Llano County, even during COVID, the judge would want one of the witnesses of the will to come in. Well, the attorney's in Lubbock, Texas, you
Right.
know, so she was trying to figure out a way to not have it go into the paper, so all of the
you don't get a million calls from all of
Yeah.
us, real estate investors, you know, coming out of the woodwork to try to track you down, right?
And you know, not the real estate investors, but the collectors for his medical bills.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I'm still trying to figure out how to have some of them forgiven, because that's what I was told.
Yes.
Was that the majority of these he was approved for those to be covered through the hospital finance department, and then with them requiring him to go to Lakeway for the colonoscopy. That was supposed to be covered too. And then obviously that's the biggest one. He was there for 18 days trying to recover.
Right.
And then whenever they released him, we went straight to University Hospital San Antonio. You know, in the 2 hours it took to get from, you know, Lakeway outside of Austin to San Antonio, he had MDR E. coli, an abscess, and dehydrated UTI. And yeah, they sent him home to hospice. And when the hospice nurse called, I said, no, we're going to try University Hospital. So then he was at University Hospital recovering from MDR E. coli and the abscess and an open wound that we had, you know, even when he came home, I was still caring for the opened wound of the incision from the surgery.
It's really not fair that they're trying to still charge you for the one that they messed up on and caused all of these issues. Like, to still expect someone to pay for that is crazy to me. They should be paying you for that, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, with malpractice and all that, we talked to a couple attorneys, but the ceiling is, I think it's like something ridiculous, like $125,000, and it's not worth anybody for them to go after, which, you know, for their cost, you know, they take, you know, almost half of it, whatever they get, and it's just, they said, no, you know, it's just not, it's not feasible for us to take any
like that.
malpractice suits. Yeah, we thought about that.
Yeah.
We tried that.
So frustrating. I'm so sorry to hear that, Margaret.
Yeah. Okay, get one thing straight. My legal name is Margaret,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody calls me Margaret unless
Okay.
I'm in trouble.
All right. What should I call you?
Anyway, my nickname is Noni, N-O-N-I. So please call
N-O-N-I.
me Noni,
Yes.
N-O-N-I.
I can call you
Noni.
Noni.
Noni love.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
As long as you don't call me Jessica Lynn, then we're okay.
Do what?
I said, as long as you don't call me Jessica Lynn, that's my name when I'm in trouble. So-
That's hilarious. One of my favorite nieces is Jessica Lynn.
oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, she lived in the Arlington area, close to Pantego, whenever they
Mhm.
first moved back to the States from China. They're
Mhm.
now closer to McKinney.
Mhm.
But yeah, that sister. Yeah, I have one sister in McKinney, and the other one went through a divorce in November.
Oh.
And she's now in Fairview, so just south of McKinney.
Mhm.
My eldest just gave up an apartment in Weatherford. He was in the Navy, and he is currently visiting Canada and engaged, and they're trying to figure out if what their next step is. She wants to move to Texas. Texas is her happy place.
Oh.
But through all this, after 10 years in the Navy, Trevor was asked to leave the Navy
Mhm.
from from a stunt that he pulled
Uh-oh.
in mourning. Yeah, nothing like mourning that.
It makes you do
Yeah.
crazy things. All right.
Oh gosh, it's anyway. So Trevor normally is in and wants to be back more on the Fort Worth side.
Mhm.
Lockheed Martin, Bell. He wants.
Yeah.
He was in turboprops and helicopters.
Mhm.
Was his history in the Navy. And then our daughter, or Cody's daughter, who calls me mommy, and Trevor called Cody daddy. Lauren lives in Deep Ellum.
Okay.
Number 3, him and his wife, they live in Rockwall. And then the youngest, who's, Joshua's going to be 27.
Mhm.
So he's here with me, but he definitely wants to get to the Dallas
Fort Worth
or the
area.
Dallas
Yeah.
area. So yeah, all 4 of my kids, hopefully, and my 2 sisters that I'm closest to,
Mhm.
all live in that area.
Yeah.
And the boys were born in Grapevine.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
where my sister was born too.
Really?
Yes, yes. That's funny. Yeah, I think the DFW area sounds like a good place for you to be, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Are all the kids on board with you selling the house and, all the profits going to you? I just asked because there's a little easier process we could go through if all the kids would be willing to sign as well.
Oh yeah. Trevor was our biggest problem, and I know you would think the one that the oldest, Anyway, yeah. Out of all 4 of the kids, Trevor has handled his daddy's passing the worst.
Mhm.
Like in early March, his fiance was here in Texas, and they were supposed to have dinner with his biological dad, and he was trying to make arrangements to, for his aunt to be there and his brother-in-law or whatever, his uncle, because it's so sad, and he lives in McKinney.
Mhm.
He said he looked at his fiance's name's Kat, and he said, my daddy died, because I have better conversations with the dog than I do with that man.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
So yeah,
That's hard
so that
for
was 1
sure.
month. But yeah, that was like 1 month after Cody died, and that's how bitter and angry Trevor was.
Mhm.
Anyway, we were on the couch, and Cody was looking up property and Dallas Fort Worth area,
Mhm.
maybe even Granbury, brainstorming all these fun creative ideas.
Mhm.
And Trevor's like, well, mom can't live alone. And, Cody put Trevor in line real quick. He goes, hell yeah, she is. She's not going to commingle her money with you guys. We did that with her family. That is not a good idea. And mom is completely, able to be self-sufficient. She does, she doesn't need y'all to be interfering and y'all's chaos mixed in on top of her recovery.
Right. You've got enough on your plate, then deal with that too.
Yeah. And because Trevor was wanting, for me to get a horse property, him and Kat to live with me. She has, 2 horses she wants to bring down from Canada, and Cody was wanting to make sure real quick that he wasn't going to, have any of those shenanigans. And he's like, well, he goes, y'all made that house. I thought that was going to be, our forever house. And, we still had hope at that time. And, he was like, Trevor, even if I kick this thing, I'm never going to be 100% and able to take care of all this property. And he goes, Mom, whether it's with me or without me, Mom's moving to the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yes.
And he goes, hey, Daddy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Trevor was the only one that we had an issue with. But, yeah, we were blessed for Cody to set things straight. And,
And then which one of the kids is just Cody's?
Lauren, our daughter.
Okay.
And she graduated from University of Arkansas with a law degree. She never did do her bar. She works for corporate Walmart, but she works from home and then travels, about a week out of every month. She travels, for her job. But yeah, the will, left everything to me. There's not any fight on anything.
Yeah, because there's this process called an affidavit of heirship where you basically say everything there is to say about the family tree. And then according to Texas's heirship rules, it tells you how the profit should be split or divided. I believe in this case, because you're a mixed family, and I'd have to, the title company is really the one who know all the rules and can figure it all out, because Texas is complicated. But because there is the split family, I do think that it technically, without the will, right, would be 50% to the kids, 50% to you, with that affidavit of heirship. But if we did that process and then the kids all signed off on the sale and for you to get the profits, it would only cost about $600 to get that done. And
even though we have a copy of the will?
Yes. So the will,
that way we wouldn't have to go through probate?
Yes, exactly. If there's other assets involved other than this house, then I do think you probably need to do the probate. But if we're just talking about the house, then we can do this affidavit of heirship process as long as everybody's willing to sign off. And a lot of times you say, like, hey, if we do this probate and pay more money, this is what it's going to be anyway. So why don't we just save some money and have you sign off here instead? And it saves time. It's a lot faster than a probate process would be. So if everybody be willing to do that and just sign the papers saying that you could get the proceeds of the sale, then we could definitely make that happen for you more quickly than a probate.
Because the boat was a Father's Day gift to him. So the boat, the trailer, and it's an inboard. So I don't know if there's another title for the motor or not on this one. The attorney was saying there's 3 for a boat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And his dad left him a 56 T-Bird. So the T-Bird's in his name. So I have that, but so I have to figure out, what I'm going to do about those items.
Yeah.
But I think that's it.
Yeah, I think, and if the family's willing to just do what the will says and not argue about it, then a lot of times you can get away without doing that full probate.
Yeah. Well, I already paid her $2,500 for her to do what she's supposed to do. And basically, we met for over an hour and brainstormed and haven't gone very far. Yeah.
I hate to hear that, because I see it all the time. We're lucky in Texas that this affidavit of heirship process is allowed, because it's not allowed everywhere else, but it's definitely a way to avoid the court system and get things done in a more economical way and faster for
Yeah.
you guys too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
That
those
would be-
probates, we've seen them take up to 2 years. It's crazy. And then
Right.
you're having to pay to maintain the house during those 2 years, still make any loan payments if you have loan payments, insurance,
No, it's-
taxes, all of that. It's just, it's not fair
Yeah.
to
Texas is
families.
not, yeah, Texas is not, is not cheap. And luckily they don't have, the true value of the property.
Right? Yeah.
They increased it significantly, but it's not, in my opinion, it's like, oh, I'm so grateful they don't have it on the tax rolls what the value is. They don't have the square footage right. And I'm like, oh, yeah. One
Mhm.
morning we woke up and there's a guy walking outside our master bedroom window, which is upstairs. So he's out on the patio outside the master bedroom with, and we didn't have any coverings on the windows. It's like living up here in a treehouse with all
Right. You can't see in.
It's just
Yeah.
beautiful. And I mean, he's like getting wound up.
Uh-huh.
I was so freaked out. Luckily, I wasn't indecent or anything.
Uh-huh.
But Cody if I would have been and he would have seen me, Cody would have had a fit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
Terrifying.
anyway, yeah. Coming to do measurements of the addition, however many years ago that was, probably 3 years ago that he did that. I don't know.
You should probably knock on somebody's door
Time is so
to.
weird.
I agree. Everything kind of stood still there for a minute, it seemed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me send you pictures.
Yes, ma'am. Can you
I'll
think
give
of
you an
any more
idea.
questions for me,
Go ahead.
Noni? Oh, can you think of any questions for me?
No.
Okay. If you're like me, as soon as I hang up the phone, I'm like, man, I should have asked, So if
I
anything
have no
like that
clue.
happens, give me a call back anytime, text me anytime.
Well, I did that goofy thing late one night and I thought, oh my gosh, anyway, I get a bunch of phone calls, but nobody has ever left a message. And I am, with the medical situation,
Ugh.
there's no way I'm answering anything
No.
unless somebody leaves me a message.
Yes.
So, you're the first person who's ever left a message.
Well, I feel lucky. I do. I'm glad I got to talk with you today and hear your story. And I know there's some sad parts, but I think getting to DFW is a good plan and
Yeah,
a good fresh
that's what-
start.
That's what my baby wanted,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
I do not. I was a very well kept woman. He loved to cook. I pretty much forgot how to cook in the last
Oh,
29 years,
oh my goodness.
He was, I could wash and dry clothes, but as far as folding and putting it up, I sucked. So, I was married to Superman, and Superman hit his kryptonite. They never did find the primary source.
Wow.
It's adenocarcinoma, no known source. 85% probability it was pancreatic.
Mhm.
Considering I had 6 months from the time that we first found the multiple nodules until the time he passed.
Wow.
I pretty much, I'm pretty sure it was pancreatic.
Mhm.
But yeah, adenocarcinoma, no known source.
Man. Yeah,
Things I never wanted to know.
cancer is
Is the devil.
it is. I was trying to think of ways to say it without curse words. So,
Yeah.
it is the worst.
Okay, I'm going to be really inappropriate. So, a dear friend of ours that, you ought to watch the Celebration of Life. We did it at our old church down in Leon Springs. And anyway, one of our dear friends and his wife bought a second house in Terlingua. And there's a female silversmith. And about a week after Cody passed away, I got a care package in the mail. And it's a silver bracelet with a stone in it. And then, engraved, or, like anyways, it's a fairly thin bracelet,
Mhm.
and it's not foofy or anything. It's very Terlingua kind of Southwest, New
Mhm.
Mexico kind of feeling. But anyway, it says "fuck cancer."
That is perfect. That was what I was trying not to say. So thank you for saying it.
Yeah, David and Dana took care of it for you.
Yes.
And I wear my serenity prayer and my, the little love verse on, my little silver bracelet
Mhm.
on the same arm with my, with that one.
That's perfect. That is
It
perfect.
kind of explains my personality.
Yes.
Cody and I were blessed with 16 years of recovery from alcoholism, the last part of our marriage. So, a very covenant, God-based relationship where, I honored my husband and, I obeyed my husband and he honored me. So, there was not ever any decision he ever made without me being his primary concern. There was an amends that I needed to make, and he actually held off until a friend of ours that lives in the Weatherford area, he was working in New Orleans and woke up that Friday morning, and the Holy Spirit was just like, you need to go. And work went perfect. He got out early. He made it through Houston on I-10 at 4 o'clock in 10 minutes. So the waters were opened. He got here, and we got to have communion with Cody, and he did a blessing over Cody, and I truly believe we saw Cody's, especially now that I hear stories from my daughter-in-law. She was flying in at the time. Anyway, he felt electricity come through Cody's head. He was, blessing him and praying over him. And Cody went, and I mean, it's like we both held our breath, saying, is it done? And then Cody took another breath, and we giggled and laughed and said, you stubborn old bitch. But PJ left me about 11:30, I think. I don't know. But no, it was later than that. It must have been after midnight, because I had given Cody his midnight morphine. He was not able to swallow, so I was doing morphine
Let's
every
fucking
hour. And Cody passed away somewhere between midnight and 1 o'clock. I mean, his body did. But at the time that Cody went, at that time, my daughter-in-law, who is very spiritual, she said that she got a flyby and that she felt like a hot rock in the back of her back between her shoulder blades, and this like warm Cody hug. And
at that same time?
At that same time.
Wow.
And Cody came and told her goodbye as she was flying into Austin. Then when his body passed, the storm started back, and they were almost home, and the whole hillside, a lightning flash, and they were like, oh my gosh. And Trevor was like, Daddy's gone. And they just, they were real quiet. And I didn't call Trevor because they were 15 minutes from home whenever I realized, whenever I woke up at 1 to give him his morphine, and he was gone. And, I did the creeper thing, and they were like 15 minutes from home. So I just waited till they got home, because I still had to, call hospice and, do all the things I needed to do.
Right.
Until the other kids, the kids' room. Okay, so this was February 3rd. February 2nd, February 3rd, somewhere between midnight and 1 o'clock. And I went in there, and Lauren was sleeping in the bunk room with Josh, and that room was 77 degrees. And the house was, it was colder than that outside. The heater was not on. And, the temperatures were set at, 72, but it was 77 degrees in their room. So I mean, just all kinds of cool stuff. My
Right.
nephew in Florida was out on the ocean fishing, and he felt his Uncle Cody beside him.
Hmm.
So yeah, he got to tell some of his favorite people.
Yeah,
that
he tried to
yeah,
make
it
the
was-
rounds.
Yeah, he made his rounds. Yeah, he did his goodbye tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I love
Anyway,
that.
so
Well, it's been great
yeah, really-
talking with you, Noni,
yeah.
and I'm
you too.
really
Let
hoping
me-
to be able to
I'll
help
send
you.
pictures
Yeah.
that I have, and then I'll look and see if there's stuff. I mean, like right now, the master bedroom, I haven't even made the bed today. But if there's not any pictures that I don't have, I'll try to, they won't be beautiful and clean right now. But
No.
I'll
And
send
that's
you some
never
other
what I
pictures to give you an
expect.
idea.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the bones of the house. Like, we've bought the worst houses, I promise you. So it'll be fine
no,
with
this
those
is a beautiful
pictures.
house.
We bought
Yeah.
like hoarder houses and all sorts of stuff. So don't
Well,
worry
right now
about
I'm
any
still
mess.
borderline hoarder.
No,
I will say
don't.
that. I do
don't.
feel borderline, as far
Oh.
as like, plumbing and screws and nails
Mhm.
and and wood and I feel a little bit like a hoarder right now on some of the building remodel supplies.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, don't stress about that. I promise we're just looking at the bones of the house, and that's something that we can help with too. That's one of the main ways we help people who are in similar situations to you. Is a lot of times when it's time to move, there's trailers and trailers worth of stuff that needs to go to the dump or get donated. And so we have a service that comes in and they donate what they can and they take the rest to the trash. And so it's just,
Even all the way from Arlington to here.
yes. Well, we do a trash down there. We don't take it that far.
Huh?
They wouldn't take it that far. They do whatever the closest dump is to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
we do
usually,
the
with us living in Bernie for so many years,
Mhm.
it was always cheapest to take it to the Kerrville dump, even though, that's.
Oh,
that's- but
interesting.
that's-
Yeah.
that's where we would always take it.
Yeah, that's good to know. Good to know for sure. But it's just, you take what you want, sell what you want, right? Grab all the things that are heirlooms and that you have ties to, but the rest of it is just something you don't have to worry about and that we can help with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. All right. If you think of any questions, reach out anytime, okay?
Okay.
And I'm
sounds
going to
good.
text
Thank
you as soon as we hang up, okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Whew, how long was that?
I don't know. You tell me. I was waiting for you to. You start pulling it back.
Yeah, I almost did. 40 minutes. So you always, the longer the phone call, the better the phone call, right?
If we don't buy that house, I'd be shocked, right? Just because of everything she was like, the rapport that you built up with her.
Mhm.
She was literally letting everything go. She was trusting you 100%. Every time she went to go tell she's like, I'm going to be really. She's gonna,
Inappropriate.
yeah. Every time she went to be appropriate, I was waiting for it, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just
It's just,
she cursed. It's so sweet.
she's adorable for sure.
Key takeaways that I found, obviously, you like even building up, you got her what her nickname is, right?
Mhm.
Nani.
Mhm.
I couldn't even remember that. What it's the square footage of this house?
It's over 4,000.
No, I know that, but so the reason
But
I'm
the
saying that is
exact
because I found two different
dimensions.
square footages. One was saying that it was 1739, and then the other one was saying that it's 2441
Mhm.
plus 2300.
Yeah, I think
So
we
that's
definitely would
difference
have to
between
have
700
someone
square feet.
measure.
Yeah.
And that's cheaper, by the way. So sending somebody out to just measure the size of the rooms and not doing a full survey is an option. And it really helps with your dispo too, right? To actually know the square footage of the property you're trying to sell. So that's one of the places where I would spend money, would be to go get exact measurements, get real pictures, right? So she's going to send me pictures that I can base an offer off of. It'll probably be good enough for that. But they probably wouldn't be good enough pictures for dispo, right? So I could also pay somebody to go and take those pictures for me. There's different services available like BPO Photo Flow that can do it, and they know real estate, so they know what pictures to take. Or you can hire somebody off of, Upwork,
Yeah.
those
Any of
sorts of
those.
places.
There's a lot of
It's just going to take more like training and teaching of what photos you want for doing it through a service like that.
I was going to say there's a lot of real estate professionals available that do that type of stuff. So realtors, notaries, such like that, right? That they'll only go and just take photos only. They're not going to go and do an actual CMA or anything like that, which is not what we want in this case. I started pulling it up on MLS because I was like, oh, it's Texas. I can do that. And I realized that it's probably Sandbar or whatever is down there. I really enjoyed that. That was a good one because it was also.
I was getting worried because nobody was answering. I'm like, y'all are going to get no value out of these phone calls.
We have plenty. Somebody was going to answer. We have over 100 numbers to call. Somebody was going to answer. But the HVAC's broken in that room, right? Is that what I got?
77 degrees.
Yeah,
sun.
the 77 degree.
Don't be rude. It's 72 now. It's working fine now. It was just at that time.
That room, we have to fix
he
it.
He warmed everybody up.
God,
and that's the thing too. You listen, you be kind, and you respond to what they say. There's no.
So it was
to build rapport. A lot of listening, right? A lot of
But it was
a lot
even
of
like
agreeing,
your
right?
oh, my sister was born there, right? Like it was any type of connection that you could make. It was you made another connection too. I can't remember, but any form of connections that you can make, you try to, right? Just again to pull down her walls. When she said, "You're the first one to leave a voicemail,"
that blew my mind.
It's
I hate
true,
leaving
though.
voicemails. I don't like it, but I still do, right? So do it. It pays off.
And the sweeter you can sound, the better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all I got for today, unless anybody has anything that they need me to chat about before we finish it up. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't have a feature for Wednesday this week, but I'll have something in the mix before then. If anybody needs anything, reach out. We're always here, always killing it. Always keep crushing it. Later, guys.